Sandra, a professional sex worker since 13, and the lecturer's best friend. Sandra was just 13 when she was introduced to sex by her mother, who was a single parent and also a professional sex worker. Sandra had no good example to follow at home because different men visited her mother and she was not in the dark of what they do under the closed door. At first, Sandra detests and abhorred these worrying habits of her mother. But what could she do? She needed money to take care of herself, and her mother had plainly told her that every woman's body is a venture to generate money from men. After several provocation, persuasion, and inducement from her mother to lure her into a promiscuous life, she yielded to her counsel, and at senior secondary school class 1, her mother introduced her to a young rich man, be her sex partner. In the first month of her new promiscuous way of life, everything has changed about Sandra. Her body physique, her dressing, fashionable jewelries, and different hairstyle is now profound with her. She just suddenly transformed into a big girl of her secondary school. Sandra was naturally endowed. She was very beautiful. She had a tender face and very fair and beautiful to look upon. Every man, even of her father's age, wanted to have a piece of her, and they are ready to pay any ransom to have this. Before her final year in the secondary school, Sandra had many more sex customers even than her mother, who introduced her to the business, and she paid her rebate after every of her appointment with them. When Sandra was leaving secondary school for the university at 16, she was already very popular, famous, and rich, and she was using an expensive iPhone that worth millions of naira. And her secondary school friend can nowhere match or withstand her elegance, pride, because she controlled men, their attention, and wealth to the extent that some people thought she had hypnotized them with a charm. The university, Sandra was the choice of every promiscuous lecturer. She seldom attended lectures, and when she did, it is to entice and seduce new lecturer for attention and grade. Today in Abuja, tomorrow in Lagos, this hotel and that hotel, hopping from bed to bed. Sandra was always in new and flashy cars on campus, which she has collected from her sugar daddies and Yahoo guys that enjoy her services. Most girls on campus envied her and wished they could have the wealth and attention men give her. But contrary to this, Sandra was not always happy because her way of life is contrary to her dream and ambition of her life. She had wanted to become a successful scientist and also wanted a peaceful and settled home with husband, wife, and children living together in peace and harmony, unlike her mother, living as single parent and could not even account whose daughters they were. Secret cries every night. Secret regret and condemnation always grip her heart. After her promiscuity, Sandra desired to be free, but it's difficult to deliver herself. Sandra desired to get back her dream and ambition, but each day took her farther away from achieving her goal, aspiration, and ambition. One day, Sandra met her childhood friend in the supermarket, Tolani. It was Sandra that noticed her from far, near the cereal and the beverages rack. Tolani, Sandra called. The both exchanged pleasantries. Sandra said, Tolani, how are you? I'm fine, Sandra. I'm sorry I did not inform you when I wanted to get married last year. I sought for your contact but was abortive. Wow, you mean you are married now? Yes, so by His grace. What? By His grace? What do you mean? How about the business I introduced you to when we were in the secondary school? Tolani said, which business? I laid it off about 6 years ago when I found Christ and He saved me. You know, the Bible says, if any man is in Christ, he's a new creature and old things are passed away. I'm a new creature, I'm a brand new man now. All things are passed away in my life. I am born again. And to crown it all, Jesus answered my prayer and gave me a good and godly man. I am enjoying my home. Oh. Ah, Tolani, why didn't you tell me? I am undone. I'm finished. Ah, ah, where will I started from? Who will marry a wall, a bitch, a fornicator and an harlot like me? Sandra, don't say that. I also gave pieces of my shattered life to Jesus, and He repaired it and gave me a life on a platter of gold. What God cannot do does not exist. Tolani prayed with Sandra as she led her to the Lord, told her to desist from ungodly way and follow and embrace Christ. Both departed after exchanging contacts. In the car, as Sandra was driving home, she sighed and said, it's too late for Jesus to save me. I've waited too long. Who will marry me? Who will settle down with a woman like me? My life, my dream, my aspiration. Will I not also end up like my mother, who was a single parent all her life? These has been my fears and my worries. What will I do now? I have failed myself for the love of money and for the lust of the eyes and for the short pleasure of life and for the pride of life. My beauty have deceived me. My mother has beguiled me into all these. What I fear most is about to happen to me. It is not a generational curse. How will I not also become a single parent with fatherless and vagabond children, just like my mother? And I was warned by my school fellowship teacher during my secondary school days. I remember very well now the word of Mrs. Peace when I wanted to embark on this shameful journey. She said, there is a way that seems good to a man, but the end thereof is the way of death. It is not a dead end of my life. Look at you. Look at yourself, Sandra. You are 29, and there is no man, no serious man to take you to the altar. My Sunday school teacher also said, he that is often rebuked and hard in his heart will suddenly perish, and that without remedy. Will I remain single for life? I'm aging. What is the next course of action? I need a man in my life. I need a man badly, at least to have my own children, at least to be called after the name of one man. What will I do now? As Sandra was encumbered with diverse thoughts in her mind, Tolani called. Sandra, hello? Are you at home already? Have you reached home? No, almost. Okay. How about our discussion? How about Jesus that I spoke to you about? I would like to invite you to my church this Sunday to start a new walk with God. Sandra was reluctant because of shame and reproach. She thought of what everyone in the neighborhood will say because they know her and her profession. She's afraid what they will say. They will say Jezebel turned to Mary, the mother of Jesus, now that she's looking for an husband. Tolani further persuaded Sandra and agreed to follow her to the church the next Sunday. After the Sunday service, Sandra cannot stop to ponder on the preacher's message, particularly the point he emphasized during the ministration. Marriage is honorable in all things, and the bed undefiled, but whoremonger and adulterers God will judge. Sandra pondered on this word again and again, and she's afraid of God's judgment on her, considering her past wayward and promiscuous life. After 3 months of her attendance in the church, two brothers from the church are already flocking around Sandra to take her to the altar, unknowing to them about her wayward and promiscuous past life. Sandra was a beauty to behold. This made every man to fall for her. They are just looking at the container, not minding the content that is in the container. The Bible says, by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought low to a piece of bread. Sandra is not born again. She's at this time a churchgoer because she needed an husband badly. This is why we always preach to our single brothers to pray and wait patiently for God, for His will in marriage, and not to marry because of beauty, wealth, fashion, or fame. Since Sandra had joined the choral group, she has successfully seduced innocent brothers who lust after her beauty in their heart. The Bible says, lust not after her beauty in your heart, neither let her take thee with her high slit. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought low to a piece of bread, and the adulterers will hunt for a precious life. Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Can a man walk upon hot coal and his feet not be burned? So is he that goeth into his neighbor's wife. Whosoever toucheth her shall never be innocent. Men do not despise a thief when he steals to satisfy his hunger, but when he is found, he will be paid full. But he that committed fornication with a woman lacketh understanding. A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall never be wiped off again. These are the messages we preach to our youth, boys and girls, warning every man from fornication. That the Bible says, flee fornication, because every man the man commit is outside the body. But he that commit fornication, sin against his own body. Sandra is a devil incarnate, a Jezebel to the core, who taught the people of God how to eat things sacrificed to idol and to commit fornication, and was given space to repent, but she repented not of her fornication. Every careless and sinful brothers wanted to have a piece of her, including the church leaders and elders. She's full of seducing spirit. Eventually, Sandra's desire and wishes were met because brother Joseph proposed to her and is ready to take her to the marriage committee for marriage. But unknown to brother Joseph, Sandra was already pregnant for brother Michael, the drummer, who's supposed to marry Sister Bola the following month. Brother Michael was worried when Sandra told her she was pregnant for him. But no cause for alarm now. Sandra knew what to do. Sandra decided to transfer Brother Michael's pregnancy to Brother Joseph's, since both of them had in the past had sex with her. Brother Michael was very happy to hear the plan and that nothing would disrupt his marriage plan, which was to come up in 3 weeks' time. They both agreed to keep the secret and move on with their lives. Sandra arranged and influenced both weddings to be conducted the same day. Sandra, pregnant for Bro Michael, was getting married to Bro Joseph, who thought the baby in Sandra's womb belonged to him. At the church wedding service, the pastor said, "If any man have reason why these couples should not be joined together, let him rise up now and speak." Sandra and Bro Michael look at each other. The pastor continued, "Or let him keep quiet forever." Since both of them had an oath to keep quiet and to keep secret, Bro Michael could not move or muzzle, despite the fact that he is not happy with his first issue in Bro Joseph's bosom. After 7 months, Sandra gave birth to a baby girl. Everyone congratulated her, including Bro Michael, the real father of the baby. Sandra reminded Bro Michael of the oath not to disclose the secret to anyone, so as to save both marriages. 5 years later, Sandra is pregnant again, and nobody can tell if the pregnancy is for Joseph, her husband, or is for Bro Michael, her husband's friend, and it could also be for any other man in the church or outside the church. Leopard cannot wash a spot away. Sandra has not changed. She had rather grew worse in the act, despite her marriage. The Bible says, "Having eyes full of adultery, and that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, and after they have exercised with covetous practices, caused children." Sandra herself could not ascertain the right owner of the baby in her womb. She has slept with many men in the recent times. Now, Michael is uncomfortable. He's ready to spill the beans. He wanted to claim what belonged to him. All these were unknown to Joseph, who married Sandra because of her beauty and has forgotten that beauty is vain. One day, Joseph eavesdropped Sandra's conversation with Michael and was very wroth and bitter, but did not show it. Joseph pondered on what to do, so he called Sandra the next day and asked her, "Sandra, who is the father of Flora, our assumed first child?" Sandra was speechless, knowing fully well that Joseph is now privy to the information he has hidden from him for more than 5 years. Joseph asked again in annoyance, "I said, who is the father of that bastard you call Flora?" Sandra was confused. She was afraid. And she said, "I can explain, please. I can explain." Joseph was very furious and left the home in annoyance to meet Michael, his childhood friend. The tension between Joseph and Michael was so strong. Joseph did not know when he stabbed Michael in the chest and killed him. "You have killed my husband! You have killed my husband!" Michael's wife exclaimed and immediately called the police. Joseph was apprehended and sentenced to death by hanging. When the news reached Sandra, who was 7 months pregnant at that time, she slumped and gave up the ghost. Oh, what a life! Life without Christ in crisis, here on earth and also in hell. Dear friend, the wages of sin is death, because there is a way that seemeth right to a man, but the end thereof is the way of death. Turn to Jesus today before it is too late. Surrender your shattered pieces of life to Him, so that iniquities will not be your ruin. Thanks for listening and for watching. Share, send your comment. Don't forget to subscribe to African Tales by the Pope. We tell African story in an homely way. Bye for now.